Hi there guys, I'm Jake, and today I wanted to give you a quick overview of how you can create your first campaign in Woodpecker. So I'm going to show you the first step you need to take to run your campaign and get your first replies. So let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so this is the campaigns tab. This is where you can see all your campaigns running, edited, and so on. So the first thing you need to do is of course to add the campaign if we want to create the campaign. So let's click on it right away and let's jump into the edit view of the campaign. So the first field we need to fill in is the campaign name. In my case, it's going to be AI rewrite campaign, and that's how I'm going to name it. Right here you can also see who created this campaign and when it was created. The second thing I need to choose when creating my campaign is of course the email account that I want to send from. In my case, I have already connected one of my test accounts, but I'm going to connect a new one to show you how you can do it. So let's click on add new email account right here and connect my email account. So once you click on this, you will see this menu, which will allow you to choose how you want to connect your email account. If you use one of the two major providers like Google and Microsoft, you will be able to connect your email account in just a few clicks with the native integration with Woodpecker. If you have a custom configuration of your email account, you can choose the other email provider right here, and this will allow you to input all the data yourself, meaning servers, ports, login if necessary. That's how you can connect any custom provider yourself. Also, if you have a larger number of email accounts to connect at once, we also have a feature that allows you to import those email accounts in a list in a CSV file. This allows you to add up to 200 email accounts at once. You can drop your file right here. If you're not sure how you should format your file, you can always download a sample CSV file right here. So if you have a large number of email accounts, this is an option for you. For now, I'm just going to stick to connecting my Gmail account with native integration option. So once you click on it, you will see a pop-up from your email provider, Google in this case. As you can see, Google already remembers my email account. If I want to connect a different one, I can also use the option to connect another account. In this case, I'm just gonna go with this one. Of course, I have to accept certain terms of Google. I need to allow Woodpecker to have access to my email to be able to send, and of course to detect the replies I get from my prospects. So no risk here. I'm fully aware and I can allow the Woodpecker to connect. So now Woodpecker is configuring my email account. So if the email connection attempt is successful, you're going to see the from name and signature menu. These are naturally the next step you should take while connecting your email account. So in this case, the from name is automatically imported from my email account settings. The same for the signature. Of course, as you can see, it's pretty simple, but this is also the place where you can quickly either create your signature. You can also add it if you have it in HTML. You can simply switch to HTML view right here and then import your signature. If you do not have your signature, I will also definitely recommend you checking the signature generator, which allows you to create a signature from the scratch with the help from our tool. So once we're done with the signature, I can also set up my CRM email address if I'm of course using a CRM. So this is optional, but this is also something you can do right here. So if we're done with this, we can move on. So once I click on the save, you're going to see the success menu. You're going to see that my email address was connected, and you're going to see a quick domain checkup where we validate your SPF, TKIM, and domain age. Alright, so once our email account is connected, let's head back to the edit view of the campaign. Right here, I can choose the email account to send from. So if I connected my email account just a second ago, I can now choose that email account. Of course, I can also choose more email accounts to send this campaign from. And this leads me to our first tip. Tip number one. Sending from multiple mailboxes helps your deliverability. The lower your sending limits per each mailbox, the safer you are. While avoiding any large spikes in the sending, you raise less suspicion in the eyes of spam filters. Want to learn more about the inbox rotation? Check this video. So once our email account is chosen, we can now head to the very important tab in your campaign edit view, which is the settings. If you click on this gear icon right here, you will open the settings menu. And here are pretty crucial functions to your campaign. The first one is time zone, which your campaign will be sent in. If you have provided certain data of your prospects, like their city or state or country, Woodpecker will be able to detect their time zone. So you will be able to use this option and send according to each of the prospects' time zone individually. You can also select the way your unsubscribe link will work, so it can be GDPR compliant, which will result in removing all the data of the prospects who unsubscribe with this unsubscribe. You can also add the list unsubscribe header, which has been mentioned in recent Google's recommendations. So you might want to consider that as well. Now to the limits part. So the limits is probably the most important thing to set up at this point in your campaign. So this limit refers to this campaign only, and it limits the number of prospects that Woodpecker will reach out to every day. So in this case, we are referring only to the step 1 of this campaign, or in other words, to new prospects enrolled every day. So by default, this is set to 50, which we generally consider a safe limit, depending of course of the number of mailboxes you use, but we consider this a safe limit, and this means that Woodpecker in this campaign will try to contact 50 new prospects every day from step 1. This does not apply to follow-ups, only to emails from step 1. Review your mailboxes and outreach plans and set a limit that suits your needs. So once you've set up your settings, we can now move to creating the campaign itself. Every campaign creates of 3 steps. So the path itself, the steps and emails, the list of prospects, and a quick summary. So let's start with the path. If we click on the path, the first thing we see is the email editor, which is the basic thing to create your email step in this campaign. So this is step 1 of my campaign. Right here, I can create the subject line of my email, and right here I can create the content of my campaign. So I have prepared my content and my subject line beforehand. As you can see, it is just a simple email trying to reach out to people who might be interested in rewriting their first step of their campaign to improve their results. So once I have created my copy right here, I can now think about how I want to personalize this content. Tip number 2. Personalization matters. That's a fact. The more engaging, individually crafted your content is, the better it performs. But the more variables you use, the better for your deliverability as well. Spam filters do not like sending the very same email thousands and thousands of times. So create a copy that will grab your prospect's attention, but one that will not place you in the spam folder right away. Check our video on best tips for copywriting. So Woodpecker allows me to personalize my content with the use of snippets. I have provided some custom fields for my prospects. I have their first name, I have their last name, I have the name of company, and so on. In this case, Woodpecker allows to add exactly those custom fields as snippets in the content. Let's start personalizing with the subject line. For the subject line, I would like to use the first name of my prospect. I have simply typed an X here just to replace it later on, so let's remove it and let's add a snippet. You can find the snippets right here. Once you open it, we should choose the first name, and this is the custom field that Woodpecker will fill in once sending the email. So Woodpecker will try to use the first name of every single prospect of mine, well, at least every single prospect I have provided the first name for, in this email content. So this will automatically happen without any action on your end. So the same here, I can also add the first name right here, and my content will look a bit more personalized. And also this X could be for the company. So that's how the company increased its positive reply rate twice. Well, unfortunately, I do not have the company snippet for some of my prospects, so I should use a snippet fallback in this case. So instead of snippet, I will use a snippet fallback for the company. So I click on the snippets and then move to snippet fallbacks and choose the company. So this allows me to use a snippet for all the prospects I have the company, but also to set a fallback value. So a replacement value for the prospects I lack, these custom fields. So in this case, I can use a sentence like, I work with, and this is how it will look. If I have the custom field of this prospect, it will fill in the company name. If it does not have this custom field, it will simply say, that's how the company I work with increased its positive reply rate twice. So if you do not have the custom fields of some of your prospects, you can always use a snippet fallback in email editor. So as you can see, the email editor also do have a different choice of fonts, the size of fonts, also just regular editor features. I can also add an image. I can decide whether I add the signature manually here or should be imported from my email account settings. So this is up to you to personalize this content yourself. So once I'm done with it, I can move on to the delivery hours. So by default, we recommend sending from Monday to Friday to avoid sending on the weekends and during the working hours for at least most of the prospects. Of course, this is up to you. You can change it. You can also send on Sundays for 24 hours of Sunday. That's up to you. You can edit the delivery hours yourself. So once you're good with the content, you can also send a test email to yourself. This way you can see how your email content will actually look in the inbox of your prospect. Before you do it, you might also want to spam check this email with our spam check feature. You can also try to check for any spam words in your content with this feature. Woodpecker will try to highlight any spam words which you might want to get rid of before you reach out to your prospects. And before you move on to the next step, you might want to consider create at least a couple of versions of this step. So Woodpecker allows you for A/B testing, which allows you to create up to 5 different versions of that same email. You can create different versions of that step, and Woodpecker will automatically rotate the versions between your prospects, trying to evenly spread the volume. So this is a great opportunity to test how can different subject line perform, different CTA, different catchphrases in your content. After you send at least a couple of versions, you can also see which one performs better and then act accordingly, like deleting one of the options and only sticking to the one that performs best. This is up to you, and these are the possibilities of A/B testing. Okay, so once I'm good with the content of my step 1, I can move on to the follow-ups. Generally, follow-ups do increase the reply rate in general, so do not restrain from using follow-ups. 2, 3, or 4 follow-ups is always a good option. So if I want to add a follow-up, I simply need to add a step right here. Once I click on it, I will see another email editor, but this time simply for a follow-up. The crucial thing here is that between every step, you can also adjust the number of days or hours that should separate one step from another. So in this case, by default, we recommend you 3 days, which means that once this email is sent, the step 1, we will not send follow-up until 72 hours pass. But this is up to you. You can change it up to your needs. It can be as short as 1 hour, but you might want to give your prospects a bit more time to reply. So in this case, I'm going to stick to the recommended 3 days and move on to creating my follow-up, my step 2. So I had prepared my version for step 1, but I do not have written my follow-ups yet. So if you don't have time to do it, you can always use some help from AI. So in this case, here you can find the option to generate the text with some help from AI. Once you click on it, you're going to need to input a prompt here and choose a tone of voice and the text length. Okay, so I have come up with a quick prompt which should summarize what I really expect from AI at this point. So a quick follow-up which refers to the content of my step 1. I can choose a tone of voice which I prefer to be a bit informal and creative, and maybe let's keep it short. So let's generate the content with the use of AI. Okay, so this is the follow-up AI came up with. It's rather generic. It reflects what I basically asked it to do, but you know how AI is at this point. So I always recommend double checking it and maybe filling up some blanks with some personalization, with some human touch. But as you can see, this can be a great starting point for your follow-ups. If you are done with the step 2, you can also move on to creating another step. Once you add step 3 of your campaign, you can also choose the follow-up delay condition, which by default will be now twice as long as the previous one, so it will be 6 days now. This is also up to you. You can also change it for any step you like. So once you create your campaign and you're done with the steps in the path of your campaign, we can move on to the prospects. So let's open up the prospects tab right here and add some prospects. I have a couple of options here. I can import my prospects from the file. I can add them from the database. Do not have any prospects yet. I can add them from the integration, as I can sync my Woodpecker account to any tool like Pipedrive or HubSpot and then sync my data between those two apps. I can also add my prospects manually by simply typing in all their data. So right now I have my prospects in a CSV file, and that's how I'm going to import it from the file. So let's do it. Okay, so once you click on the import from file, you will be redirected to this menu where you can drag and drop your file or simply browse your computer to find the file. Please keep in mind that we accept CSV and Excel files, and they should be formatted in the UTF-8 format. So let's add my prospect right here. So the file is added, and now I should choose what would I like to do with the duplicate contact. This applies to the prospects that I already have in my prospect database, and since I do not have any prospects in my database, I can simply skip it for now. So the next step is matching your data with the custom fields in Woodpecker, the same custom fields that you're going to later use to personalize your content with the use of snippets. So as you can see, Woodpecker automatically matched the custom fields in my file with the snippets in the app. That's pretty well done, so I do not need to do anything. I can also do a quick preview of the content of my prospects to see if it actually matches. So once I'm good, I can ignore the column headings, which are in fact first name, last name, and so on, and import my prospects. So once the import is done, I will see how many prospects were imported, how many duplicates or errors Woodpecker encountered. I can also see the details of the import, so a list of all the prospects. Please mind that these are all fake prospects I have generated just for the sake of this product demo. So 100 prospects are imported, all the prospects in my file are imported. I can now add them to the campaign. And success, all my prospects are now in the campaign. So let's jump back into the campaign to the edit view of my campaign, and I can see all my prospects with active status and all the custom fields I had for them right in the place. If my prospects are added, I can move on to the summary where I can see my email account that I have chosen to send this campaign. I can still add more email accounts. I can see the path. If I'm using A/B tests, I can see the number of prospects. So at this point, I can save it as a draft and get back later on to it. I can also send the full test campaign, meaning all the steps, to myself to see how it looks in the inbox, or I can simply run the campaign right away. So once my campaign is running, I will now see the stats view of my campaign. In the stats view, I can see the number of prospects, the number of invalids Woodpecker detected, as we are validating every single prospect before the sending attempt. I can see the number of sent. If I hover the mouse over this, I will see the number of queued prospects, also bounced, and the statistic for opens, the statistic for response, and so on, the path overview. And if I scroll down, I will also find the statistics per each step. So here I can also see how every single step is performing alone. So once I have created and run my campaign, I can see every step of my campaign, I can see the content, and I can see the daily limit. So the natural first question is, when will my first email be sent? Of course, the Woodpecker mission is to imitate human behavior, so we will never send all the emails at once. Instead, we will try to fill in the delivery hours with the daily limit you have chosen right here. So the earlier you send, the better. As you can remember, the daily limit refers only to this campaign, so only to emails sent from step 1 of this campaign. But crucial part here is that your email account also has its own limits. So let's jump quickly to the settings of that email account and check the limits of that email account. Once in the settings and accounts, I can check the settings of my email account. So once again, if I click on the gear icon, I will open up the settings of that email account. In the sending tab, I will see the sending limits for this email account. By default, it is limited to 100 for free Gmail accounts, and the sending interval is up to 30 emails per hour. So an email between every 19 and 140 seconds. That's how Woodpecker imitates the human sending behavior by sending an email in a random interval. My email account can send up to 100 emails an hour and maximum 30 emails per hour. All right, so back to the campaign. We have set the 50 daily limit for this campaign. We have also checked that my email account is able to send up to 100 emails. All right, so my campaign is up and running. I have created all the steps I needed to create. I have checked the limits of both the campaign and my email account. And I can also see that the first email has already been sent. So I'm waiting for Woodpecker now to contact all the other prospects while I can just relax and focus on other tasks of mine. All right, guys, so this has been the quickest way to run your first campaign and hopefully get some replies soon. Maybe not with this fake data, but you know what I mean. And right now I can just relax, focus on any other tasks I should be doing, while Woodpecker will be saving me a lot of time, money and effort, and imitating a human sending behavior, doing all its magic behind the scenes. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and create your first campaign and get yourself some replies. Stay tuned for more advanced product demo where I'm going to show you more advanced features of Woodpecker, like deliverability tab, more advanced reporting, different types of steps you can use in your campaign, a lot of advanced features which can help you get the most out of our tool and improve your outreach and boost your results.